I really don't want to do this for the next 5 years. I really don't. But look, before all this talk of retirement came up just 2 weeks ago, he had made it clear throughout the season he's playing through 2022. And he said on at least 2 different occasions, I never want to turn on a game and say, man, those guys suck. I could still do it. And he's going to turn on a game
definitely say that.
Because he had over 5,000 passing yards in 2021.
No doubt.
He set the single-season record for completions. He can still play at a high level. He's got the arm. The question is, can the rest of the body keep up with it?
Right.
I mean, is it crazy to think he'd take off a year and come back? That's not crazy. That's not crazy at all.
I mean, it's not crazy. Not with him and the way his lifestyle is. I think that would be a whole year off, though. That would be, to me, different. Then all of a sudden he's back at 46. You know, we've hit all this, right? I mean, I do think the family thing, I do think his body's beat up. You know, again, I'm watching a video of him this week. He's on David Beckham's boat. He's wearing a knee brace walking around the boat. I mean, he's wearing a knee brace.
Which
on
knee?
On the right knee, I believe.
Ooh.
Right. I got to look at it again.
What if he had a knee injury all year long that they lied about last year?
Maybe, but we know he's been beat up.
Left knee last year, remember? It was the plant leg.
Right. So, hey, he's been a long career. He has been beat up. It's got to be catching up to him to a degree. I do think the family thing's real, and he wants to be a good dad and husband and all of that. But also here's the way I could see it happening. I don't think he's just going to go back to anybody. But I look at this year's Drew Brees scenario, right? Where you and I both know, Drew told us flat out, and they lost Taysom Hill. Simeon was hurt. They went, oh, no, we need quarterback. And there was, what was that, week 14, week 13, somewhere in there, right?
It was around Christmas time.
Right around Christmas, so he might have been a little later than that, where they put out the bat signal. Uh-oh, we might need Drew. We need you to get out here to help us end the season and get into the playoffs. If New England called last year, let's say they're sitting there 12-3, and Mac Jones gets hurt with 2 or 3 games left in the year. Those are the ones, or even Tampa, whoever their starting quarterback is next year. 2 places that he's got some comfort with, knows the system. That's where I could maybe see it happening.
This is where it also gets interesting from a transaction standpoint. Last week, the Buccaneers did not make a move with Tom Brady. He's still on the roster.
Right.
It's a 90-man roster now, so it's not like you need the spot.
Yep.
At some point, they'll have to make a move. And it could just be they're waiting until after June 1, like they did in New Orleans with Drew Brees last year, to manage the cap hit better.
Right.
But after June 1, do they put him on the reserve retired list or do they release him? That becomes critical because if you're on the reserve retired list, after a certain point, you can't come back. Now, you could be released from the reserve retired list and pass through waivers, but that becomes a complication. I think Tom Brady should want to engineer it so he gets released by the Buccaneers after June 1. So if he ever does want to come back, he doesn't have that extra hoop to jump through. That's going to be a very telling transaction. Yeah. The moment the Buccaneers remove him from their current active roster, which he is still a part of, does he go to reserve retired or does he go free and clear, go wherever you want, sign with whoever you want to sign with? I think that will be a factor too. Because look, it didn't seem impossible that he wasn't trying to set up the opportunity to go somewhere else next year.
That's what I'm shocked he even said it.
What if the 49ers put out the bat signal for him?
I hear you. I mean, maybe that, again, yes. I don't envision it like if it's bat signal in training camp, I don't think that's going to happen. That's where I just go, I don't think he's going to want to deal with all that again. Oh, I got to leave the family. But for a limited amount of time, I guess that's the way I look at it a little bit more. That's where it's a little different. But I think your point there is real, and that's a good thing to look out for as far as the reserve retired list.
Mike Tirico was pinch hitting for Peter King in June or July of the 2021 offseason, and he talked to Drew Brees, and one of the things Tirico asked in that column that he wrote was whether or not Brees would come back this year, and Brees said, even then, I'm already learning, you use it or you lose it. How quickly you get out of football shape, how quickly you lose your faculties of being able to throw the ball the way you want to. So if Tom Brady is going to leave the door open for that, doesn't he have to continue to spend time throwing, spend time doing all the things? Everybody just assumes he's going to get full-on dad bod and quit eating avocado ice cream.
No way.
But if he's thinking about something like that, he's got to stay in shape, in football shape.
A little bit.
So he could quickly fire up the engine and be ready to go.
I would think so. I don't think he's going to leave being in shape too far behind no matter what. I just think that's the kind of human he is, where a lot of these quarterbacks, again, I'm not trying to put – that's the way I am. I don't know. There's a lot of other Drew Brees he's still training to a degree and staying healthy. We see him. He's still fit as hell. So I would think he's going to stay somewhere, at least in the vicinity of being in shape. Throwing and all that is something, yes, that's going to be a telltale. Like, I can speak from experience with my own father. Right, my dad was the first salary cap casualty really in NFL history. That next year, I was that guy for my dad. I was in 8th grade. We would go over to the field, and he would throw footballs with me because he was keeping the door open. The Browns were calling, the Jaguars were calling, the Arizona Cardinals were calling, and that's what he did to stay in shape. Now, yeah, but that takes a little effort, and that's where I just don't know. I'm shocked Brady said that yesterday. I'm shocked because now he's not going to hear the end of it. We're going to be talking about this all the time. Anytime his name comes up or anybody gets hurt in training camp, Tom Brady's going to hear about it because he left the door open yesterday.
Don't you think that's what he wants?
I guess so.
You're in, but you're not really in.
But that's where I don't understand it. So then I don't
out,
know.
But you're not really
retire. Out. That's where I'm just a little bit like, why? Well, why even say it? But okay, so we'll see.
I really do think, and we've heard enough from him in recent years regarding the balance he's trying to strike. And nobody's been away from their family as long as him. Nobody has kept going the rate that he has been going for this many years. He's been doing it for 22 years. He's got a family that is growing up before his eyes. He's the centerpiece of the family. His work takes over everything. And I think that his wife got to the point where she won. It was a tug of war. It was a constant source of stress. We all have issues like that in our relationships where there's some issue, whatever it is, whether it's a job you're going to take, whether you're going to move, whatever it is, there's that source of tension that eventually the other side of the relationship is going to win. And I feel like she's won. What else do you have to prove? What else do you have to do?
Sure.
And so she gets a year with Tom at home, and then maybe she needs to see how miserable he is while he can still do it. And it's like, okay, like Adrian, when she comes out of the coma, I want you to do one thing for me. Win.
I know.
Dong.
I know.
That music is kind of playing. So I feel like it's Rocky music constantly
like
playing. I don't know if you can hear it. My
right
God.
now with this.
But it is distracting.
It is.
I wonder if they could turn it up a little louder because I'm having trouble hearing
I don't think Arizona can hear it. So
that's good.
It's a little too low.
Arizona.
Yeah, the next state over.
Like
it's that far. It's that loud. Yeah.
I get you now.
Got me?
But maybe after a year of it, she's like Adrian coming out of the coma and says, go back and do it. Because you know what? Of all the things you've done, one thing you haven't done is taken a year off and come back and win a
had
Super
to deal
Bowl.
with your husband or have to deal with your husband for a year.
That's
at home
too.
Who's frustrated.
Hey.
That's a real thing.
Once I started working at home, my wife at one point said to me, isn't there somewhere you can go?
Yeah.
It's like, sorry, I work here now.
I hear you. I think that's a real thing. The one thing I always say, everybody go, well, he's been away from the family and all that. There's no job that has better hours than playing quarterback in football or being an NFL football player. There's no job that exists. That's where sometimes when people go, well, he's done this and, blah, blah, blah. I want to go, I know, but everybody thinks the next job they're going to be in is like going to be easier. And then you go, then all of a sudden Drew Brees finds out, well, I got to fly all these places and do all this every weekend and all that. Oh, crap. I'm actually away from the family now more than I was when I was playing. So there is that moment, too. Now, I don't expect him to be doing much here this first year, so he will be around.
Well, but when you
maybe that's where
business interests, right? It's very easy when you are caught up in the bubble of a season. It is very easy to manage any and all other demands on your time. Like, hey, we want you to do this. Well, sorry, I got practice. Or we want you to do this. Yeah, sorry, I got a game. Now he's open. Schedule's open. Wide open. Right. He can do whatever anyone wants him to do. And so, he's got into crypto, and he's got this NFT thing, and he's got his clothing line. He's got this, he's got that, and he's going to be driven. He's going to be competitive. He's going to look for new ways to get that rush of success and victory. And it's
going to be interesting.
It's going to be, and it's
a
already
psychological struggle for him. That's for sure.
He's not even a week removed from the announcement of the retirement, and he's already talking about coming back. Are you freaking kidding me?
It's going
to be exhausting. And we'll cover it because it's news. And I remember when Barry Sanders retired, and we thought he was going to come back. I remember when Brett Favre retired. And You know, at one point yesterday, Tom Brady said something along the lines of, I don't know how I'll feel. And it reminded me of when Brett Favre went on David Letterman in late April of 2008 and said, who knows how I'll feel when training camp rolls around. And it reminded me of that. And that was when I knew Brett Favre's coming back.
Yeah, right.
He's coming back.
Right.
Once you get to July, you're not going to be able to stop him from doing it.
Right.
So good luck. Good luck keeping Tom Brady from playing for someone. And I don't know. I still think he wants to finish his career with the 49ers. I still think he does.
Yeah, I don't doubt that.
And between Rodgers and Brady, you know, Rodgers has more than 1 year left in the tank.
Definitely.
I could see Brady going for 1 year to San Francisco. Trey Lance continues to develop, and Kyle Shanahan goes all in and tries to win a Super Bowl.
Be interesting. I do think that's one scenario maybe Brady would think about, like, legitimately. But
he wanted it 2 years ago, and they didn't want him.
I know. Nobody wanted to believe me when I was telling everybody it was the 49ers or the Bucks, right? And for the same reason, I knew that. Everybody, it's just funny. I'm like we're going down memory lane. Remember that? Everybody thought Kyle was telling me everything. I want to go, no, there's people in Brady's inner circle that talk too much. And they do. Just like we saw here with the retirement talk. There's too much chatter there, and things always get out. And it wasn't Kyle Shanahan where I got that information from. But nonetheless, back to the point is that you're right. Here we are. I don't know why he said it. I would imagine maybe his wife is annoyed with him today going, why did you say that? Like, because now every time a team needs a quarterback, you've left the door open. The 49ers probably will call this offseason maybe if they don't feel like Trey Lance is quite ready to go yet. Or there's going to be a team or two that's going to call. And, yeah, to me, that's where it's going to be interesting to see.
Once the quarterback carousel starts to spin and teams are left off, it's like, oh, you know, well, we wanted that guy, we didn't get him. We wanted that guy, we didn't get him. Hey, Tom Brady. Tom Brady sounds like he's not fully retired.
Exactly.
So look, as somebody who owns and operates a media outlet that focuses on the NFL, I'm not complaining, but I'm just saying get ready, because he dropped the turd in the punch bowl. Pardon me, but that's what he did. It's there. It's floating.
Right.
It's floating.
Great.
And it's going to be
visual.
there. It's not going anywhere.
Didn't you come up with something better than that?
Sorry.
I mean, damn.
I didn't come up with the saying. I just took it to the next logical extreme. I mean, when you drop it in, it either floats or it sinks. This was floating.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.